This chapter directly continues from the previous chapter. Please ensure you follow the web series chronologically. All the links will be provided in the description below. Thank you. House of Kuru, Chapter 4. Dushyanta and Shakuntala. Tell me, O mighty Guru, I wish to know, I wish to understand my lineage. Speak to me. From where did the great name Bharata originate? What is the source of the Bharata seed? Inquired the mighty king Janamejaya. Ah, my favorite student, listen to me and I will tell you the romantic tale of your ancestor, one of the earliest progenitors of the Kuru race, the mighty armed Dushyanta and his beautiful wife Shakuntala. In the days of yore, a great Vedic seer named Vishwamitra did tremendous austerities for the purpose of obtaining the highest status known as becoming a Brahma Rishi, a being equal to the creator god Brahma. In this process, he frightened the gods by performing tremendous feats like creation of a separate heaven and a separate group of celestial beings. Indra, the god of war and the god of all celestial beings, grew jealous of his prowess and austerity. So he sent his courtesan, Menaka, to tempt the mighty sage from his austerities. Menaka was well aware of the wrath the seer possessed. He was known to incinerate temptations and destroy entire armies with a mere sight. She agreed to do so if the god of lust, Kama, accompanied her. Kama was a legendary Cupid who knew exactly how to lead even the most virtuous men astray, and Kama assured Menaka a victory. With the assurance of both Kama and Indra, Menaka left Indraloka, the realm of Indra, and reached the realm of mortals. Menaka spied Vishwamitra from a safe distance. She was indeed awed by his personality. He was once a king after all. The glow emanating from his tapasya and his forbearance in performing such sincere austerities, she commanded Kama to do his job. As expected, Kama did spectacularly. He brought forth the season of spring. All flowers bloomed. The smell of jasmine, lilies, lotuses filled the air. The weather went from a reverberating heat to a pleasant coolness. Kama began instilling a hunger into Vishwamitra, and it was at this moment that Menaka began dancing. Slowly but elegantly in front of the great seer, but not so close that it would look suspicious. She moved her body with great grandeur and gait that in time Vishwamitra could not help but take a quick peek at the unimaginable beauty. And that was when Kama struck. He aimed and perfectly shot his arrow of lust directly at the sage. The sage fell instantly. O beautiful creature, where art thou from? No creation on the plane of man exists so beautiful. Are you a fairy? Are you a nymph? Please tell me, began the conversation. Indra was pleased. He was well aware of Kama's potential. He was also well aware of Menaka's ability to seduce. Within moments, Vishwamitra was tangled helplessly by the cords of lust. The mighty sage who once created worlds and realms was dangling helplessly in the might of the serene beauty that was Menaka. She had him under her spell. She was in complete control, and in due time a very beautiful daughter was born to the couple. The moment the daughter was born, Menaka fled. Her job was over now. Vishwamitra's penances were disturbed. He would no longer be able to continue his tapasya. The baby was of celestial beauty. She had the beauty of an apsara, but the will of a mighty Vedic seer. Vishwamitra was in a dilemma. He could not in good conscience abandon the child, but he could also not wean her. He was far too ambitious. He desperately desired the Brahma Rishi status. It was at this time that the sage Kanva appeared in his hermitage. Kanva was a more homely rishi. The moment he saw the baby girl, he was puzzled. I never took you for a father figure, Vishwamitra, chuckled Kanva. Vishwamitra told the entire episode of Menaka and Indra to Kanva. and lamented, "Oh, what a fool I was, mighty Kanva! I strayed from the path of virtue for but a moment. I gave in to my senses for a minute and fell into a coma of lust for 13 years. I have also fathered a child. My ambitions for the Brahma Rishi position are all gone," cried Vishwamitra. "O mighty sage, when Indra, Kama, and his chief celestial damsel decide on straying a person, even the most virtuous of us have very little hope of victory. Control of the senses against an Apsara is by no means an ordinary feat. Only the mighty Mahavishnu, when he incarnated as the Rishi Narayana, could do it. So, great sage, do not lament. I will happily raise this child of yours so that you may progress in your pursuit," spoke the kind sage Kanva. Both the rishis hugged each other, and Vishwamitra said, "Fortunate I am to have you by my side, O Kanva. I named this child Shakuntala, as she looks just like the Shakuntala birds she loves to be around. I will be happy to raise the sweet Shakuntala as my own daughter." "Fear not, O great Vishwamitra," spoke Kanva, and the two departed. Shakuntala grew into a beautiful maiden of resplendent beauty. Under sage Kanva's tutelage, she became well versed in the scriptures and spent most of her time in the forest picking fruit or aiding his fire sacrifices by gathering dried wood and fodder for the fire pits. She usually spent time with her maiden friends and daughters of other rishis. One day, a king endowed with masculine grace and powerful arms was hunting a wounded deer, and he tracked it close to the ashrama of Kanva. Knowing Kanva to be a great sage, he decided to pay his respects by visiting him. He entered the hermitage of the rishi, and much to his surprise, he saw the most beautiful maiden he'd ever set his eyes upon. Shakuntala and her friends were nursing the wounded deer in the garden. Nearly fainting in front of the beautiful figure, he spoke with utmost care to ensure his tone was pleasant and sweet-sounding. "O beautiful damsel, who art thou? You look more beautiful than all the celestial beings. Heaven is empty without you," said the king. "My name is Shakuntala, the adopted daughter of the Rishi Kanva." "And who, may I ask, are you?" inquired Shakuntala. "I am Dushyanta, the emperor of Hastinapura. I rule the land of Hastinapura with my left hand, only to serve the goddess of beauty that you are with my right," said the king. At which point Shakuntala, who was new to any form of romance, blushed lightly and said, "O king, it's not right for you to enter the hermitage without the permission of my father Kanva. Please wait outside. He has gone outside for the procurement of certain ingredients for his next fire ceremony," said the beautiful Shakuntala. "Oh, beautiful maiden, why do you hurt me so much? I wish to marry you. Speak now, and we shall marry according to the Gandharva tradition. I will make you the queen of Hastinapura, an empress to rule by my side," said the king. The innocent Shakuntala agreed to marry the king Dushyanta in accordance with the Gandharva tradition. Both the king and the Shakuntala went to the nearest temple and exchanged garlands. They spent the next few hours in passion, but unfortunately time did consume the period, and eventually the king Dushyanta said, "O divine beauty, I have to leave now. O beautiful princess, I will send for you once I have reached my palace, as I do not have chariots to take you with me. I leave this ring in your hands as a token of our love." King Dushyanta placed the ring on her finger and left the hermitage. Within a few hours, Kanva, along with some of his disciples, arrived at the hermitage, and Shakuntala narrated the entire incident in a intoxicated mix of emotion and romance. Days went by, and Shakuntala was entranced by the events of the day she met King Dushyanta. One day, a very temperamental rishi named Durvasa arrived at the hermitage. Smitten with love for King Dushyanta, Shakuntala did not notice his entrance and was completely oblivious to his presence. He became thirsty and realized he was not welcomed properly. "O ignorant woman, do you not know who I am?" he bellowed. I have been waiting in the sweltering heat outside the ashrama. I called several times and no one answered. Now I note it has not been empty after all, he hollered. Very well. Whoever ensnared your thoughts will forget who you are, cursed the Rishi. It was at that moment the beautiful Shakuntala came to her senses. She begged Rishi Durvasa for forgiveness and told him the entire story. She told him about how she was lying in wait for her beloved and how she had not heard from him at all, and soon tears flew from her bird-like eyes, and this was too much for the Rishi to bear, and his heart melted. Very well, please stop the tears. I cannot retake my curse, as once my words are spoken, I live by my words. But fear not, whatever token the king has given you, as soon as you show it, he will immediately remember you, said the Rishi, and Shakuntala became her cheerful self again. Days turned to weeks, which turned into months, and Shakuntala realized that she was pregnant with the scion of Hastinapura. She told her servants and her father, the Rishi Kanva. Kanva decided that it was appropriate to set forth to Hastinapura immediately and inform the emperor. As they were traveling, they met the mighty Ganges river. The Rishi ordered a boat, and the retinue all sat on the row of boats, and they made their way to the other side of the river. While doing so, Shakuntala was playfully slapping the water, and in a moment of haphazardness, the ring given from the king fell from her hand and into the water. She barely noticed it, and a fish in the water swallowed the ring. Shakuntala and her retinue made their way to the kingdom of Hastinapura and made an appointment to the king. The king could not recognize the beautiful Shakuntala. His face was filled with indifference. You are undoubtedly a very beautiful maiden, but I have no clue as to who you are, madam. I am so sorry, said the king. O king, we wed in the Gandharva rite under the temple of the Lord, where you place the garland around my neck. You place the ring on my finger, said Shakuntala. Ring? What ring? Show it to me, said the king Dushyanta. The ring stirred some emotion, but when Shakuntala looked at her ring finger, there was no ring. The ring must have fallen somewhere. The reality came crashing down on her shoulders. She must have lost it. I am so sorry, madam, but I do not have any idea who you are. Now let me be to the affairs of my state. Shakuntala protested loudly, only for the king's guard to approach her, when Dushyanta interrupted him. Dear maiden, you must understand my predicament. If I accept you as my wife, what will stop a parade of other women claiming to be my wife? The citizens will make a mockery of my rule. If you had the ring that bared the seal of the empire, and I cannot remember how I lost it, but if you had given it to me, it would be enough evidence. I am sorry, madam, I truly am, said the emperor. Now there was nothing to be done. She realized that the curse of Durvasa had taken effect. Dejected and humiliated, Shakuntala made her way back, along with her retinue and her father, Kanva, to the hermitage. Shakuntala then spent the next 7 years in deep meditation and reflection of her actions. In the meantime, a healthy boy was born to her. She named him Bharata. Bharata was a brilliant little boy, and he grew up to be very handsome indeed. 7 years passed with Shakuntala living alone in the hermitage of the Rishi Kanva. One day, a fisherman trapped a large fish, and when he cut open its internal organs, he observed a spectacle. A large ring with the seal of the emperor flopped out of it. Seeing that it must belong to the king, he immediately took it to King Dushyanta. That very moment the king saw the ring, his memory came flooding back to him. Oh dear God, what have I done? He gasped. His love, the beautiful Shakuntala, came to him, and he returned and turned her away. Gods, bring my chariots, bring my army. We need to leave immediately, he bellowed. But just as he was about to leave for the hermitage of Kanva, an army of Mlecha barbarians attacked his kingdom. The king routed the army and fought a tremendous battle. The war lasted for several days, when finally the king managed to vanquish the barbarian tribes. Without stopping for rest, King Dushyanta gathered his troops and made his way to the hermitage of Kanva. Upon reaching the hermitage, he asked the Rishi Kanva, O great seer, where is my beauty? Where is my wife, the queen of the realm? I made a terrible mistake. Will she ever forgive me? He cried like a helpless child. My daughter is meditating in the midst of the woods. Go towards there, he pointed, and you will find her. He spoke rather affectionately, with no sign of anger at abandoning his daughter earlier. King Dushyanta did not wait for Kanva to finish the sentence. He had already left. He spent hours searching for the beautiful Shakuntala, but to no avail. He heard a lion roar loudly. Terrified that something might have happened to his dearest, he fled in the direction of the roar, only to see a young boy holding the jaws of the lion with his bare hands, and he was counting its teeth. Astounded by this feat of daring, the king spoke. "O child, tell me, who are you?" "I am Bharata, the son of Dushyanta, reared by Shakuntala, the wife of Dushyanta," said the child. The king hugged the child tightly and asked, "Tell me very quickly, little boy, where is your mother?" "Right behind him, O king," said a familiar voice. And at that moment he saw her. He recognized her instantly. The queen regent, the beautiful Shakuntala draped in red, was standing behind a tree watching her son sport with lions. "Your son, Bharata, O king," said Shakuntala. "O fair maiden, I have committed the most atrocious sin. I have left you for dead. I couldn't even recognize your fair face." "Oh, what a failure am I," lamented the king. "We have lost precious years of our lives. How foolish have I been," cried King Dushyanta. "O king, what is the use in lamenting over spilled honey? One cannot scrape it up, as it would have stuck to all forms of dirt. That which is in the past needs to remain in the past. Fate is cruel, but kind to us, as you have eventually realized your folly. Come, let us enjoy ourselves now," said the forgiving Shakuntala. King Dushyanta, Shakuntala, and Bharata left for the city of Hastinapura. In time, Bharata took the throne of Hastinapura and vanquished all the enemies in the vicinity of his kingdom. King Bharata united the land under his rule and performed the famous Ashwamedha horse sacrifice. In his lineage was another king called Kuru. Kuru strengthened the land and performed severe austerities and tapasya in the land. The land where he performed the severe austerities became known as Kurukshetra, the land of Kuru's penance. "So you see, Janamajaya," said the Guru Vaishampayana, "you are a direct descendant of the brave and mighty Dushyanta and King Kuru. King Kuru is the lineage you and your fathers fall into. Now, let me tell you about your great-great-grandfather, the great story of Bhishma, the son of goddess Ganga and King Shantanu. Listen closely," said the wise sage Guru Vaishampayana. I hope you liked today's episode of The House of Kuru. If you have not already, please subscribe to this channel and like this video so that you will be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Thank you.